Lately, Ukraine using precision strike HIMARS paralyzed Vladimir Putin's military in the south. Vladimir Putin is experiencing fresh fears over U.S. military aid as Russian armed forces are devastated in a series of precision attacks, a former Navy chief warned. Russian troops trapped by offensive as Ukraine moves to reclaim Kherson. Russian troops are isolated in Kherson as Ukraine steps up its battle to retake the besieged city. According to the Ministry of Defense, the counteroffensive in the southern city is gathering momentum. The ministry revealed, Ukraine has used its new long-range artillery to damage at least 3 of the bridges across the Dnipro River which Russia relies upon to supply the areas under its control. One of these is the vital Antonivsky Bridge, which is still standing according to Moscow. The MOD added, Kherson City, the most politically significant population center occupied by Russia, is now virtually cut off from the other occupied territories. Its loss would severely undermine Russia's attempts to paint the occupation as a success. The Ukrainian army thanked its successful incursions in the city to Western rocket systems it has received. In response, Vladimir Putin is said to have ordered a massive redeployment of Russian troops. Oleksiy Arestovych, a senior advisor to Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, said the Kremlin was changing tactics from offense to a strategic defense. He said, "This would place us in a position where we are unable to liberate all our territory and call for talks." Moscow's military has come under renewed assault from advanced American military technology provided to the Ukrainian defense. Highly accurate U.S. rocket systems have targeted the Kremlin's invading forces as Russia grapples to expand the conflict in the east beyond the Donbass region. Former Navy Chief Admiral Lord Allen West confirmed U.S. weapons had compromised Russian military strategy, with Moscow struggling to sustain supplies of modern equipment to the front line. Speaking to Times Radio, Admiral Lord West said, "There's no doubt that the latest U.S. rocket bombardment that they're giving the Ukrainians is having an impact on the Russians. It's highly accurate, it's taking out Russian fuel dumps, and it's having an impact on the fighting. I don't believe it will stop the Russians grinding down Ukraine in the Donbass region, but, my goodness, it's making life a lot more difficult for them." On Friday, the U.S. Bureau of Global Public Affairs confirmed a renewed supply of military assistance to the Ukrainian defense in the 16th drawdown of American support. The new package of advanced equipment totals an estimated $175 million in arms and equipment to bolster President Zelensky's armed forces. In a press statement, Secretary of State Antony Blinken said, "Today's announcement includes more HIMARS advanced rocket systems and other weapons that Ukrainians are using so effectively on the battlefield to defend their country." This drawdown, combined with an additional $95 million announced separately today under the Department of Defense's Ukraine Security Assistance Initiative, will bring total U.S. military assistance to Ukraine to approximately $8.2 billion since the beginning of this administration. Under the Department of Defense's initiative, the U.S. is also set to provide Ukraine with up to 580 Phoenix Ghost tactical unmanned aerial systems. The so-called Phoenix Ghost drones have already proved highly effective throughout the conflict by destroying Russian military storage facilities within Ukraine. The additional 4 high-mobility artillery rocket systems in the latest round of provisions will bring the total number of HIMARS transfers to Ukraine to 16. Following the announcement of increased U.S. military aid, President Zelensky said, "Critically important, powerful arms will save our soldiers' lives and speed up the liberation of our land from the Russian aggressor. I appreciate the strategic friendship between our nations." Just a day after an agreement was reached between the United Nations and President Putin to resume exports from Black Sea ports across Ukraine, Russia launched a missile strike against the port city of Odessa. Moscow claimed the attack was not intended to compromise grain exports as the Russian military was acting on intelligence to destroy a stockpile of U.S. weapons within Odessa. Igor Konashenkov, a Russian Defense Ministry spokesman, said, "In the seaport city of Odessa, on the territory of a shipyard, sea-based high-precision long-range missiles destroyed a docked Ukrainian warship and a warehouse with Harpoon anti-ship missiles supplied by the U.S. to the Kyiv regime." The Kremlin's desperate effort to destroy U.S. weapons supplies within Odessa has exposed Russian fears over the continued advanced military aid America has offered to the Ukrainian armed forces. Nowhere to hide, terrifying explosion as Zelensky's men strike Putin depots near railway. Ukraine has inflicted more damage on Vladimir Putin after President Volodymyr Zelensky's heroic troops obliterated 2 Russian ammunition depots as it continues to fight back during the brutal war. The Directorate for Strategic Communications of the Ukrainian Army confirmed Ukraine hit 2 ammunition depots in Ilovaisk, Donetsk Oblast, and Brylivka belonging to Russia in the early hours of Friday morning. A huge blaze was reported in Ilovaisk, a major regional railway hub, at around 2 a.m. local time, with explosions audible for some time afterwards. Footage shared on social media show massive flames erupting and thick, dark plumes of smoke filling the Ukrainian night sky. Twitter user Chuck Farrer, @ChuckFarrer, whose profile describes him as a former SEAL Team 6 squadron leader, retweeted a video of the blaze at the Russian ammunition depot. He wrote alongside this, "No, where 2 hide Ukrainian precision strike artillery has targeted a RU ammo depot in Ilovaisk, 40 kilometers behind the forward edge of the battle area in Donetsk Oblast. UKR partisans likely designated this target, and HIMARS took it out." Note the secondary explosions. Ukrainian journalist Denis Kazansky said the resulting explosions were so powerful that windows were shattered in nearby buildings. He added, "Eyewitnesses report that scattered shell bits were lying on the streets." The fire continues. The route from the city is closed. Ilovaisk city in the Kartsist municipality, Donetsk Oblast, where Russians are based. It was also the site of a battle in the conflict of 2014. Before hitting the Ilovaisk facility, the Ukrainian armed forces struck another Russian ammunition depot in Brylivka, home to another key railway hub under Russian occupation. Suri Klan, head of the Kherson Regional Military Administration, said all Russian equipment and ammunition in the depot had been destroyed. Loud explosions and detonations were heard, while an oil depot may also have been hit. He said on Facebook, "One of the important logistic hubs of Russian invading forces was destroyed, the railway station in Brylivka. The Russians brought equipment and ammunition there and now everything has been burned. Some didn't even get unloaded." People report loud explosions and detonations. The oil depot was probably also hit. Brylivka is located around 50 kilometers to the southeast of the city of Kherson and 30 kilometers north of the Black Sea coast. The latest strikes come with the UK's Defence Secretary Ben Wallace claiming Russian forces are effectively crippled as Putin insists on a meat-grinder war strategy. He told BBC's Today programme, "Putin hasn't changed from his desire to occupy the whole of Ukraine, take Kiev and Odessa, but his army has been effectively crippled by huge amounts of losses. Over 25,000 dead. Maybe twice as many injured."